The stillness before existence was not darkness, not emptiness, not even nothingness. It was something beyond every word the human mind has ever created. A silence so perfect that even the idea of silence had not yet been imagined. There was no sound because there was no air to carry it. No light because there was no space for it to travel through. There was no before or after because there was no time to hold those directions. There was simply, not yet. And yet, within that absence, everything that would ever exist was waiting. Waiting without knowing what waiting meant. In the deep quiet of this unborn cosmos, the laws of physics did not exist, because there were no things for them to govern. Space had not stretched open, time had not begun to flow. The universe was smaller than a single point, yet more vast than any dream we could contain. It was potential, compressed into silence, a seed of infinity, hidden within a timeless pause. This was not chaos or disorder, but an immaculate calm, a balance that required nothing to sustain it. To imagine this stillness is to reach beyond comprehension. We can picture the Big Bang, we can map the expansion, but the moment before that, the night before time began, is a riddle to both science and soul. Our instruments cannot measure it, and our language dissolves when we try to describe it. What existed before existence? Some say nothing. Others, something so profound that it became the origin of all things. Maybe the universe was never born in a moment, but is continuously being born. A breath that never ends, exhaling eternity into itself again and again. If we listen closely enough, in the quiet hours of the night, we might sense a faint echo of that beginningless calm. Every silence between thoughts carries the same pattern, a miniature of that ancient pause. Every heartbeat is framed by a moment where time seems to stop. Within us, the memory of stillness remains. We are, in a way, the universe remembering its first silence. Before there were stars or atoms, before energy began to dance, there was a balance so complete it required no movement. Imagine a lake with no surface, no reflection, only depth without distance. In that immeasurable expanse, even possibility rested. Yet possibility never sleeps forever. The silence was not empty because even in nothing, there is tension, a subtle yearning to become something. Physicists call it quantum fluctuation, a spontaneous trembling of the void. Philosophers might call it the whisper of being. From this quiet pulse, reality began to stir, like the first breath of a sleeper awakening from a dream that had not yet started. This stillness is not gone. It hums beneath everything. In the pauses between moments, in the breath before thought, in the silence before dawn. The same calm that once held the unborn universe still lingers behind every movement of time. To fall asleep, to drift, to surrender, we return to it nightly, unknowingly. In sleep, we dissolve into that original balance. The body grows quiet. The mind empties. We become once more the silence that existed before anything needed to exist. The night before time began is not only a story of the cosmos. It is a mirror of our own inner landscape. Every ending, every pause, every deep breath carries that first stillness within it. It is the foundation of peace, the root of consciousness, the mother of all beginnings. When we let go of noise, of motion, of thought, we return to the same unbroken calm that existed before the first flicker of light. The universe began in rest, not in motion. And perhaps, it will end in the same serenity. The stillness before existence was not nothing at all. It was everything, waiting quietly to be born.
When silence dreamed of light, it was not a sudden awakening, but a trembling at the edge of eternity. Within that boundless stillness, something stirred, not yet matter, not yet energy, but the faintest whisper of intention. It was the smallest possible ripple, a vibration in the fabric of nothingness, so delicate that it might never have happened at all. And yet it did. That trembling, invisible, unknowable, was the first prelude to everything. Scientists call it a quantum fluctuation, a spontaneous flicker in the vacuum, where even nothing cannot sit perfectly still. Out of that tiny imbalance, a spark began to form, not of fire or light, but of possibility. It is difficult to imagine what it means for silence to dream. But in the language of the cosmos, dreaming is creation. The void was not lifeless. It was potential suspended in waiting. When it shivered, that potential became motion, and motion became energy. Energy, unable to remain contained, unfolded into expansion. The silence that had been whole began to break apart into fragments of vibration, color, and form. In that breaking, light was born, the first expression of a universe that had decided to see itself. Light was not merely illumination, it was identity. It marked the difference between what was and what could be seen. It stretched across the newborn expanse, like the first thought crossing a waking mind. In those first trillionths of a second, the universe was a storm of pure energy, hotter than imagination can withstand. Time and space expanded faster than light itself. Yet light, patient and persistent, followed in its wake, the messenger of existence, racing endlessly to reveal what had just begun. From the scientific perspective, this is the Big Bang, the rapid inflation of space-time, the moment when physics took shape. But from the poetic view, it is the moment when the silence itself learned to sing. Each photon, each particle, each wave was a note in an infinite melody. What we call chaos was perhaps harmony too vast to perceive. The early universe had no galaxies, no stars, only the pure music of creation. Energy condensing into matter, matter swirling back into energy, a dance of transformation that continues even now within the burning hearts of stars. To say that the universe exploded is to misunderstand its gentleness. It did not burst outward like a firework, but expanded like breath filling endless lungs. The silence exhaled, and space stretched open. In that vast breath, the laws of nature unfolded, gravity, electromagnetism, the weak and strong nuclear forces, each a soft voice ensuring balance in the newborn cosmos. Every atom, every star, every life that would ever exist was encoded in that first quiet breath. Yet, what moved the silence to tremble in the first place? Science tells us it was random, a fluctuation of quantum fields that could neither be predicted nor avoided. But perhaps it was more than randomness. Perhaps silence itself desired to be known. Perhaps the dream of light was inevitable, a cosmic longing to experience its own reflection. For without light, silence remains unseen. Without darkness, light cannot speak. The universe needed both, the stillness that holds and the light that reveals. The moment light appeared, so did time. The two are inseparable. Light defines the rhythm of the cosmos, time the melody that carries it. Together, they form the first heartbeat of being. Imagine that heartbeat now, echoing faintly through the background radiation that still hums across the universe. The faint microwave glow we detect today is not merely residual heat. It is the afterimage of the first dream, the proof that silence once imagined brilliance and never forgot it. Even now, billions of years later, that dream continues. Every sunrise, every spark of thought, every star igniting in the cold reaches of space is a repetition of that ancient awakening. Light is the memory of that first tremor, endlessly unfolding itself into new forms. It touches everything, revealing, defining, giving shape to the unformed. It never rests, never fades, always searching for new surfaces to touch, new worlds to illuminate. And yet, despite all the distances it crosses, light still carries within it the memory of silence. Each photon, no matter how far it travels, moves through the same quiet fabric that once held everything still. The universe, vast and noisy as it now seems, is still mostly emptiness, a silence that continues to cradle light as lovingly as it did at the beginning. The two are bound, forever entwined in a relationship older than time. So when you close your eyes at night and the world fades away, remember that you are not falling into emptiness. You are returning to that same stillness that once dreamed of light. The quiet around you is not absence, it is origin. Every flicker of thought in your mind, every image that glows behind your eyelids, is a continuation of that first trembling in the void. The silence has never stopped dreaming. It only learned new ways to imagine. In the end, the birth of light was not the end of silence, but its transformation. What once was stillness became radiance. What once was nothing became everything. And perhaps, when the last star burns out and the final photon fades, the silence will dream again. And once more, within that infinite rest, light will stir. The first flicker of time was not a ticking clock, nor a sunrise, nor the movement of any hand or shadow. It was a change, the very first change, and from that change, the idea of before and after was born. Time began as motion without direction, as rhythm without measure. In the earliest instant after the universe awoke, a single rule emerged from a silence. Things would now happen, and nothing would ever be the same again. That rule, the flow from what was to what will be, became the heartbeat of all reality. Scientists speak of this moment as the Planck era, the unimaginably brief instant when the universe was younger than thought itself. In those fleeting trillionths of a second, everything existed at once: energy, matter, gravity, space, compressed into a single indistinguishable moment. There was no sequence, no order. Then, suddenly, expansion gave way to separation. Forces differentiated. Gravity bent space-time. Energy cooled. And from those ripples of distinction, the current of time began to flow. It was as if the cosmos took its first breath and, in doing so, realized it was alive. To understand the birth of time is to confront the limits of our perception. Our lives are measured in hours, days, and years, a rhythm dictated by a spinning planet and a burning sun. But time itself is not a human invention. It is a fundamental property of existence, woven into the structure of space like a melody through still air. When the universe began to expand, it created room for events to unfold, for motion to have meaning, for moments to follow one another in an order that could be remembered. In that order, memory was born, and with memory came history. Time is not a river flowing past us. It is the fabric we swim within. Each second we experience is not moving away. We are the ones moving through it, carried forward by the cosmic tide that began in that first flicker. In the smallest measurable instant, the Planck time, 100 billion trillion trillionths of a second, the entire universe could have changed its nature countless times. Within that blinkless eternity, time was still liquid, undefined, yet already infinite. It did not need to begin with noise or violence. It began with awareness, the realization of difference. The first flicker of time was also the first heartbeat of causality, the notion that one thing could lead to another. Before it, there was no because. There was no sequence of reason, no cause or effect, only pure being. But once the thread of time unraveled, the tapestry of existence began to weave itself. Stars could form. Galaxies could spin. Life could arise. Time allowed possibility to become story. It was the first narrative, written not in words, but in the unfolding of change itself. And yet, time is both illusion and truth. To physics, it is a dimension, no different in structure from length, width, or height, but to experience, it feels alive. It flows, breathes, slips, and expands. It can be gentle or cruel. It stretches when we wait and vanishes when we dream. Time is elastic, bending to gravity and speed, slowing near massive stars and accelerating in the emptiness between them. The clock of the cosmos is not steady. It beats to the rhythm of relativity, forever adjusting its tempo to the weight of being. In this way, time is both the architect and the witness of creation. Without it, nothing could move or decay or evolve. Without it, nothing could be remembered. Even space itself relies on time to define its shape. The two are intertwined, space giving time its canvas, time giving space its story. Together, they create the vast stage upon which all things appear, vanish, and reappear again. Philosophers have long wondered whether time began once or begins always. Perhaps the universe was not born in a single act, but is reborn every instant. Each moment a new creation, each second a new cosmos. If we could freeze the universe, hold it still for an infinite pause, would it cease to exist? Or would time itself remain, whispering softly through the silence, waiting to begin again? every breath we take is a miniature of that first unfolding. The inhale, the exhale, the pause in between, creation, transformation, and return. Time is not something we move through. It is what we are made of. Our bodies are arrangements of moments, atoms that remember the beginning, molecules that age with every second, hearts that echo the rhythm of cosmic expansion. Inside every cell, time is unfolding, repeating, and renewing. We are built from the same flicker that started the stars, our lives an extension of that first change that never stopped changing. And yet, somewhere deep within, a part of the universe still rests in the timelessness that preceded time. When we meditate, when we dream, when we lose track of the hours and drift beyond thought, we return, if only faintly, to that stillness before motion. The space between two thoughts, between two breaths, is the echo of that first boundary between silence and time. It is a reminder that though time carries us endlessly forward, its beginning is also its essence. Always present, always beginning, in every heartbeat, in every dawn. The first flicker of time was the moment existence learned to change. It was the breath of becoming, the rhythm of transformation. And though billions of years have passed, that flicker still burns, not only in galaxies and stars, but in us. Every moment of awareness is another beginning, another dawn. Time began once, yes, but it is also beginning now, and always will be. The breath of creation was neither explosion nor chaos. It was rhythm, the first movement of a cosmos learning how to breathe. Out of the trembling silence that had once been perfect stillness, expansion became pattern. Energy cooled, light slowed, and the earliest particles began their long dance toward matter. From nothingness came motion, and from motion came balance. The universe exhaled, not in violence, but in the soft, endless rhythm of unfolding space. In the first few minutes after the beginning, the temperature of everything fell from unimaginable heat to the gentle threshold where atoms could finally exist. Protons and neutrons found one another in the dark, fusing in fleeting moments of warmth to create hydrogen and helium, the simplest elements, the first breath of matter. These would become the building blocks of all stars, all oceans, all life. It is humbling to think that the breath we take now is made of atoms that were exhaled in those first minutes, that the air in our lungs was forged in the same rhythm that gave birth to galaxies. Creation was not an act of command, it was an act of surrender. The universe did not force itself into being. It yielded to its own potential, allowing energy to settle, to cool, to become. Like a body, after the first deep breath of waking, it found balance within motion. Gravity emerged, gently gathering what light had scattered. Tiny variations in density, mere whispers in the early plasma, became the seeds of structure. Over time, they grew into the great cosmic webs we see today, vast threads of galaxies stretching like breath frozen into form. Science calls this the era of recombination, but it might just as well be called the first moment of harmony. For the first time, light could travel freely. The universe became transparent, letting the faint glow of its own awakening drift endlessly across space. That glow still exists, the cosmic microwave background, the aftertaste of the first breath, still humming softly around us. When we listen to the static between radio stations, we are hearing the quiet echo of creation's sigh. Imagine it now, the cosmos expanding, cooling, slowing, yet alive with invisible rhythm. Space itself inhaled and exhaled, stretching and stabilizing in endless balance. Each galaxy that would one day form was a note in that universal respiration, a pause between creation and collapse. The breath of creation was patient. It did not hurry. It did not seek perfection. It simply unfolded, as naturally as lungs fill with air, as gently as a tide returning to shore. There is poetry hidden in the physics of those first moments. Each law of nature that arose, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, can be seen as a harmony between opposing needs, attraction and expansion, energy and stillness, order and chaos. The universe did not choose sides. It composed both into one continuous song. creation, it seems, was never a single event, but a rhythm, expansion and rest, light and dark, birth and decay. Each complements the other, each gives the other meaning. If we could slow time to a crawl, we would see the universe breathing still. Galaxies drift apart, stars collapse into new ones, planets form, cool, and crumble, all in the same timeless cadence. Even within us, the pattern continues. The rise and fall of our chest, the pulse of blood, the cycles of sleep and waking. The breath of creation never ended. It simply changed scale, moving from cosmic to personal, from galaxies to lungs, from starlight to thought. To breathe is to participate in the oldest rhythm of all. When we inhale, we draw in particles forged in ancient stars. When we exhale, we return them to the universe that lent them to us. Each breath is an act of remembrance, of the moment when energy learned to rest, when chaos found grace. It is as though the cosmos itself breathes through every living thing, reminding us that creation was not once upon a time, but always now. In the language of meditation, breath is awareness. It is presence, the bridge between stillness and motion. In the language of cosmology, breath is expansion, the ceaseless spreading of space. Both describe the same truth in different tongues. The breath of creation was the universe's first meditation, the moment when nothingness became aware of its own existence through motion, through rhythm, through being. As the early cosmos continued to expand, it did not lose its balance. It deepened it. The gravity that gathered the first atoms was the same quiet pulse that later sculpted stars and planets. It was the heartbeat of creation, invisible, steady, kind. Across billions of years, that pulse never stopped. It flows through the galaxies, through the oceans, through the rise and fall of every chest that ever lived. We are fragments of that same breath, endlessly exhaled and drawn back in. The breath of creation reminds us that beginnings are not explosions. They are awakenings. The universe did not erupt. It exhaled. It did not command existence. It invited it. And that invitation continues, whispering through every atom, through every sigh, through every moment of stillness that turns once more into motion. The same breath that shaped the stars is moving through us now. When we rest, when we breathe deeply and let silence return, we echo the rhythm that began it all, the gentle exhale of eternity becoming aware of itself. The light that could not rest began its journey long before there were eyes to see it, long before time had any meaning as we understand it. It was born in the first trembling moments of the cosmos, when energy cooled into matter, when particles found each other and danced in delicate patterns, and when the universe exhaled its first breath. Light is more than illumination. It is witness, traveler, and memory. It carries within it the story of the beginning, a story written not in words, but in motion, frequency, and vibration. Each photon is a messenger, racing across the void, carrying the imprint of creation itself. In the first seconds, the universe was a roiling sea of plasma, dense and opaque, where photons could barely move. They were trapped, scattering endlessly among particles, unable to escape the hot, thick soup. But as the cosmos expanded and cooled, transparency emerged. Light, finally free, surged forth. It spread into the empty spaces between nascent atoms, unbound and tireless. This light, ancient and patient, continues its journey even now, billions of years later, arriving at distant corners of space to tell us the tale of its birth. It is not simply brightness, it is memory incarnate. Consider that every beam of starlight we see carries with it the echo of creation. Even now, photons from stars that no longer exist are reaching us, traversing vast distances, defying time, and whispering that they were once born in a blaze of nuclear fire. They illuminate not only space, but also the flow of history. Light is the thread that connects past to present, the storyteller of a universe that is too vast for memory alone. And yet, it is relentless, never pausing, never resting, racing eternally across the cosmic expanse. Light moves in silence, yet it defines sound. Its presence allows us to measure, to perceive, to know. It bends around massive stars, curving through spacetime as though it were conscious of the shape of the universe itself. It vibrates in colors we can see, in wavelengths we cannot, revealing a spectrum of existence far beyond human comprehension. Each photon carries the rules of physics written into it, a code of reality that can be read by instruments and, more subtly, intuited by the mind. The restlessness of light is intrinsic. It cannot remain still, for to be still would be to cease to exist. In a universe that constantly changes, light is both constant and ephemeral, a paradox that defies understanding. In its journey, it interacts with matter, sometimes absorbed, sometimes reflected, sometimes bending through invisible corridors of space. Through these interactions, the cosmos is sculpted, stars form, nebulae glow, galaxies spiral, all choreographed by the dance of light and matter. Yet light is more than physical phenomenon. It is the universe becoming conscious of itself. When photons leave a star, they carry not only energy, but the imprint of processes long past. They carry information about temperature, composition, and motion. In that sense, light is a kind of memory, an archive of the cosmos traveling at unimaginable speeds. And when that light reaches a conscious being, it is received not just as information, but as experience, a connection between the observer and the vast history of existence. Imagine the journey of a single photon emitted from a distant star billions of years ago. It has traveled through emptiness, encountering nothing and everything, bypassing planets that never formed, witnessing supernovae, threading through the filaments of galaxies, all while remaining unchanged in its essence. And when it finally enters an eye, or strikes a sensor, or warms a surface, it completes a story billions of years in the making. Each particle of light is both traveler and historian, both witness and participant. The light that could not rest teaches us patience. It reminds us that journeys are long, that beginnings may take eons to arrive, and that persistence is woven into the fabric of reality. It travels not for recognition, not for reward, not for understanding. It travels because it must, because it is compelled by the very structure of existence. And in that compulsion, there is beauty, an eternal dance that started at the birth of the universe, and will continue until the last photon fades into the final dark. Even the human experience echoes this restlessness. Our curiosity, our longing for knowledge, our search for understanding, mirrors the ceaseless movement of light. We are drawn toward illumination, toward revelation, toward truth. In every discovery, in every insight, we touch a fragment of the journey that began with that first trembling of energy. In studying the light that reaches us, we learn not only about distant stars and galaxies, but about ourselves, about our place in the vast, patient rhythm of the cosmos. In the quiet hours of night, when the world grows still, one can imagine resting alongside this tireless traveler. Light flows through empty space with grace, without fatigue, without complaint. It does not hurry, yet it moves relentlessly. It is gentle, yet it shapes everything it touches. It does not demand attention, yet it is essential for awareness. In a sense, all vision, all perception, all life depends on its restlessness. Without it, the universe would remain an unbroken, featureless dark. The light that could not rest is also a promise. It promises continuity, memory, and the presence of the past in the now. It assures us that beginnings matter, that history matters, and that even in the vast expanse of emptiness, there is movement, there is persistence, there is connection. Light is the thread that stitches together all of time and space, a luminous braid that ties the earliest whispers of creation to the present moment. And so in every dawn, in every starlit night, in every beam crossing the void, we witness this eternal restlessness. Light continues to journey, as it has for billions of years, relentless, patient, eternal. It does not rest, because rest is contrary to its nature. It cannot rest, because its purpose is not rest, but revelation, not stillness, but witness. In the light that could not rest, we see the universe itself, awake, aware, endlessly traveling toward its own becoming. Gravity's gentle hand is the quiet sculptor of the cosmos. shaping the universe with patience and care rather than force. From the earliest moments after the first breath of creation, it has been present, invisible, pervasive, constant. It is the thread that binds matter together, the tether that gives structure to chaos, the rhythm that guides the dance of particles, stars, and galaxies alike. Without gravity, the universe would remain an unformed expanse of energy and scattered atoms, drifting aimlessly through the void. With it, the cosmos begins to take shape, slowly, deliberately, as if each celestial body is aware of its place in a greater harmony. In the first minutes and hours after the universe's birth, tiny fluctuations in the distribution of matter were magnified by gravity. Regions slightly denser than their surroundings began to attract more matter, growing heavier, gathering more particles, and slowly forming the seeds of galaxies. This process was not sudden. It was a gradual, unhurried pulling together, a quiet condensation of energy into matter. Gravity did not rush creation. It whispered to the universe, guiding particles into the structures that would eventually host stars, planets, and life itself. Gravity's influence is both gentle and absolute. It bends the very fabric of space and time, shaping the paths of objects and guiding light along curved trajectories. Even light, which has no mass, follows the curves created by gravity, traveling along invisible corridors in space-time. This bending is not violent. It is subtle, elegant, a soft reminder that every action has its place and every object has a response. Gravity is the silent choreographer of cosmic motion, ensuring balance while allowing freedom, structure without oppression, order within the apparent chaos. The birth of stars is one of gravity's most poetic achievements. Within vast clouds of gas and dust, gravity gathers matter, compressing it slowly, relentlessly, until pressure and temperature reach a point where nuclear fusion ignites. A star is born, a blazing sphere of light and heat, a beacon of energy sustained by gravity's unyielding hold. Each star's life, from its quiet formation to its eventual collapse, is guided by gravity's hand, a cosmic rhythm that endures for millions or billions of years. Gravity does not command the star to shine, nor dictate its fate. It merely provides the conditions in which the star can fulfill its purpose. Gravity is also a teacher of scale and humility. It governs galaxies, clusters, and even the cosmic web, guiding the formation of enormous structures that dwarf our imagination. Yet it is equally present in the smallest scales, holding planets, moons, and particles together. Its reach is infinite, yet its touch is subtle. We feel it on Earth as the steady pull that keeps us grounded, yet it is the same force that causes stars to collapse into black holes or galaxies to dance in spiraling formations. Gravity reminds us that the same principles govern the very small and the very large, binding the universe with a single, coherent law. In observing gravity, we see patience incarnate. It acts over eons, moving imperceptibly, shaping entire solar systems and galaxies with quiet consistency. It does not rush, yet it accomplishes immense feats. A planet slowly forming from a disk of dust, a star collapsing under its own weight, a galaxy spiraling gracefully in space. All are acts of devotion performed over timescales far beyond human comprehension. Gravity teaches us the value of time, of persistence, of gentle influence over brute force. Gravity also shapes our perception of reality. Einstein's theory of general relativity revealed that gravity is the curvature of space-time itself, not merely a force pulling objects together. Mass bends the fabric of existence, creating paths along which all matter and light must travel. In this way, gravity is not only a guide for matter, but also for information. It is the framework that allows events to unfold in relation to one another, providing a stage upon which the drama of the cosmos can play out. In the quiet of night, when we look up at the stars, we are witnessing gravity's handiwork. Each star, each planet, each distant galaxy is positioned and maintained by this subtle force. The spiral of the Milky Way, the orbits of planets around our sun, the clustering of distant galaxy superclusters, all reflect the patient, invisible hand that has guided matter since the dawn of time. In this way, gravity connects the vastness of space to the intimacy of our existence, linking every particle to the whole. Gravity is not only a cosmic sculptor, but also a kind of universal memory. It preserves the structures it forms, ensuring stability even as the universe expands and evolves. The dance of celestial bodies across eons carries a record of gravitational influence, a history written in the positions and motions of stars and galaxies. When we map the cosmos, we are tracing this record, reading the story of the universe, as it is written by invisible hands that have been at work since the first flicker of time. And within ourselves, we feel gravity every moment, the constant pull that roots us to the earth, the force that allows our hearts to pump, our blood to flow, our bodies to function in harmony with the world around us. It is the same force that shapes galaxies, that ignites stars, that bends light across unimaginable distances. It is a reminder that we are part of the same universe, governed by the same subtle rhythms, participants in the quiet, ongoing creation of structure and order. Gravity's gentle hand continues to guide the cosmos. It orchestrates the formation of new stars, the collapse of ancient ones, the spiraling of galaxies, and the motion of planets. It holds together the immense web of matter stretching across space, ensuring that the universe remains coherent even as it expands. It is patient, constant, and invisible, a force that shapes without commanding, that directs without violence, that persists without rest. In this way, gravity is both science and poetry. It is the silent heartbeat of creation, the pulse that flows through every atom, every planet, every star, every galaxy. It is the hand that cradles the universe, guiding its growth with quiet wisdom. We live within it, move within it, and breathe within it, part of a cosmic dance choreographed by a force that never tires, never falters, and never rests. To feel gravity is to feel the gentle insistence of the cosmos itself, a reminder that everything is connected, everything is held, and everything is becoming. The birth of memory in matter is one of the most subtle and profound mysteries of the cosmos. Long before life emerged, long before consciousness appeared, the universe was already learning to remember. Every atom, every particle, every interaction carried a trace of what had come before. The arrangement of particles was never entirely random. Patterns formed, persisted, and influenced subsequent events. In this way, the universe began to encode its history into the very fabric of reality. Even silence, even emptiness, carries echoes of what has already occurred. Memory, it seems, is not only a property of minds, but of matter itself. In the earliest moments after creation, particles collided and combined in ways that followed the immutable laws of physics. Electrons spun, protons paired, neutrons decayed. Each interaction left an imprint, a subtle record of the universe's unfolding. These imprints were not conscious, yet they were persistent. They were the first whispers of history, embedded in the arrangement of matter, the spin of electrons, and the subtle variations in energy. The universe was learning about itself before it could even know that learning was happening. Consider the formation of atoms. When hydrogen and helium formed, they carried with them information about the density, temperature, and composition of the early universe. This information influenced how atoms interacted, how clouds of gas collapsed into stars, and how those stars synthesized heavier elements. In a sense, the cosmos was writing its own autobiography, one particle at a time, storing memory in the structure of matter itself. Each atom became a repository of the universe's earliest experiences, a living archive of creation. Even the simplest molecules encode memory. When a molecule forms, it follows a sequence of events dictated by previous interactions. Chemical bonds reflect the history of atomic collisions and the energy landscape through which the particles moved. In this way, matter itself carries a story. It remembers how it came together, how it was shaped, how it survived. Memory is not confined to neurons or consciousness. It is embedded in the patterns that allow the universe to evolve, to become more complex, to grow in sophistication over billions of years. From this foundation of memory, life itself would eventually emerge. Cells are made of molecules that remember, molecules that fold, bond, and interact in precise ways. DNA, the most intricate memory archive known, is a direct descendant of this cosmic habit of recording history. Each sequence of nucleotides is both a record of the past and a blueprint for the future. In this sense, life is the universe becoming aware of its own memory, taking the traces embedded in matter and using them to guide new forms of being. Memory in matter is not static. It is dynamic, flexible, and adaptive. Even in stars, where immense pressure and heat seem to erase history, patterns persist. The life cycle of a star is influenced by its initial mass, composition, and the environment in which it formed. These initial conditions are a form of memory, encoded in the very substance of the star, guiding its evolution, influencing its death, and determining the elements it will leave behind for the next generation of stars and planets. In this way, the universe is a continuous archive. Galaxies, nebulae, planets, and even interstellar dust carry the history of countless interactions. Every supernova writes a new chapter, scattering the elements forged in its core across space. Every collision between galaxies reshapes structure, leaving traces of its passage in gravitational waves and disrupted star clusters. Matter remembers through these events, and in doing so, preserves the story of the cosmos for the future. Memory in matter also has a poetic resonance. It suggests that the universe is not a passive stage, but an active participant in its own evolution. Each particle, each atom, each photon carries the legacy of what has been, influencing what will be. This deep interconnectedness means that the present is always informed by the past, that every event echoes backward as well as forward. The universe is not only happening, it is remembering, learning, and responding to its own history. When life eventually arose on planets, it tapped into this memory. Evolution itself is an extension of the universe's earliest habit of recording history. Each mutation, each adaptation, each survival strategy is built upon the cumulative record of matter and energy interacting over billions of years. Organisms are not isolated. They are participants in a continuum of memory, inheritors of cosmic patterns that began long before the first cell took shape. Even within our own bodies, we carry traces of this ancient memory. Atoms that were once part of distant stars form our bones, our blood, our cells. They remember their origin in the early universe, and in this way, we are conscious vessels of the cosmos history. Our own memories, our neurons storing experience, are a reflection of the universe's deeper habit of retaining information. The capacity to remember, to learn, and to reflect is a continuation of a pattern that began with the arrangement of matter itself. Thus, the birth of memory in matter is both scientific and philosophical, tangible and transcendent. It reminds us that history is not only written in books or in human experience, but is encoded in the universe at every level, from the spin of a single electron to the orbits of entire galaxies. Memory is the thread that connects past, present, and future, a continuous lineage of cause and effect, of information passing from one form to the next, of the cosmos learning about itself through the language of matter. To consider memory in matter is to see the universe as alive in ways subtle and profound. It suggests that creation is not a momentary act, but a continuous process of recording, shaping, and evolving. The cosmos remembers so that it can become, and by remembering, it ensures that nothing is ever truly lost. Every particle carries a legacy. Every collision writes a note in the ledger of existence. And through this quiet, unceasing process, the universe composes the story of all that was, all that is, and all that will ever be. When stars became storytellers, the universe found a way to speak through light, through fire, and through the long, patient rhythm of creation. From the earliest clouds of gas and dust, gravity gathered matter into dense spheres, and in the crucible of pressure and heat, stars ignited. These first stars were immense, burning with a brilliance and intensity that far exceeded anything we see today. They lived fast, and in their brief lives, they forged the elements that would one day become planets, oceans, and life itself. In this way, stars are not merely celestial objects. They are historians, chroniclers of the cosmos, carrying the story of existence in their very being. Each star tells a story through its light. The color, brightness, and spectrum of a star reveals its composition, age, and history. In a single photon, a star communicates the processes that have occurred in its core. Hydrogen fused into helium, helium fused into heavier elements, and, eventually, in the death throes of supernovae, elements heavier than iron cast across space. Every star is a library, every beam of light a page, every flicker a sentence. Through this luminous language, the universe preserves its memory and shares it across unimaginable distances. The storytelling of stars is not linear. It is cyclical, layered, and enduring. Stars are born from the remnants of previous generations, carrying the elements forged in the hearts of long-dead ancestors. In this sense, each new star is a continuation of an ancient narrative, a chapter written in the universal ledger of matter and energy. Galaxies become grand archives, filled with countless stars, each narrating its own tale while contributing to the broader story of cosmic evolution. Supernovae, the explosive deaths of massive stars, are among the most dramatic storytellers of all. In those violent outbursts, stars scatter the elements they have forged over millions of years, seeding space with the ingredients for new stars, planets, and life. These cataclysmic events are not endings, but punctuation marks in a continuing saga, emphasizing that creation and destruction are intertwined, and that even death has a narrative purpose. The atoms in our bodies, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, were once forged in the hearts of stars that have long since vanished. In this way, the story of the universe is intimately woven into our own story. Stars also convey information about the universe's structure and history. By observing them, we learn about the forces that shaped galaxies, the distribution of matter, and the expansion of space itself. Light traveling across billions of years carries the echo of events that happened long before the Earth existed, allowing us to read the ancient chapters of creation. In listening to the light of stars, we participate in an act of cosmic storytelling, connecting with events that transcended both time and space. Yet the narrative of stars is not solely scientific. There is poetry in their endurance, their patience, and their luminous persistence. Each star burns with quiet determination, maintaining equilibrium for millions or billions of years. In its fusion-driven heartbeat, a star exemplifies balance, a constant tension between gravity pulling inward and pressure pushing outward, between creation and destruction. Through this equilibrium, the universe demonstrates that stories are not always explosive. Sometimes they are written in steady, enduring light, in rhythms that unfold over incomprehensible spans of time. The universe has also given us ways to read these stellar stories more deeply. Spectroscopy, the study of the light's composition, reveals the elements within a star. Variations in brightness indicate life cycles, oscillations, and the presence of planets or companion stars. In decoding this information, we learn that stars communicate not only through presence, but through subtle variation, through change, through the gentle nuances of their existence. They are more than light sources. They are ancient narrators whose language requires patience and attentiveness to understand. Moreover, the myths and stories humans have told about stars are reflections of the universe's desire to be known. Since our earliest ancestors gazed upward, we have projected meaning onto the stars, turning their patterns into constellations, their journeys into fables. These human stories are not separate from the stars themselves, but a continuation of their narrative. In interpreting stellar light through imagination and symbolism, we join in the act of storytelling, adding our own chapters to the ongoing saga of the cosmos. As stars age, their stories change. Red giants swell and fade, white dwarfs linger, and black holes whisper of collapsed pasts. Each stage represents a different narrative, a transformation that is both inevitable and beautiful. Stars teach us that stories are not fixed. They evolve, mature, and sometimes end, but their influence persists. Even in the silence after a star has gone dark, its legacy endures, carried forward in the elements it leaves behind and the space it once illuminated. Through all of this, we see that the universe is not silent. Stars are its voices, light is its language, and matter is its memory. Each glimmer in the night sky is a sentence, each galaxy a paragraph, and each supernova a climactic chapter. The universe communicates through these luminous storytellers, inviting us to listen, to reflect, and to marvel. By observing and contemplating stars, we participate in a dialogue that spans billions of years, connecting our awareness to the grand narrative of existence. The storytelling of stars also carries a meditative quality. Their distance, scale, and persistence inspire awe and humility. In their quiet burning, they remind us of time's vastness, of patience, and of the interconnectedness of all things. Each star is both witness and participant in the ongoing drama of creation, a reminder that even in the cold, dark reaches of space, life and memory are continually being nurtured. Finally, when we look up at the night sky, we are engaging with these storytellers. The light that reaches our eyes carries narratives older than our planet, older than the sun itself. Each photon is a letter, each cluster of stars a page, and the universe as a whole a living library. In recognizing this, we understand that we are part of the story, participants in the unfolding narrative that began with the first flicker of time and continues with every star that shines, every element that forms, and every life that perceives and reflects the cosmos. Stars became storytellers long before we existed, and through them, the universe continues to speak. In their enduring light, in their explosive depths, and in their quiet persistence, we find a reflection of our own place in the cosmic story, small, fleeting, yet intrinsically connected to the vast and ongoing narrative of existence. Planets are the quiet children of stars, born from the leftovers of their fiery parents. Around young stars, disks of dust and gas spin in delicate, invisible patterns. Gravity, subtle and patient, gathers these particles into clumps. Over millions of years, these clumps collide and stick, growing larger, forming pebbles, then boulders, and eventually the rounded bodies we recognize as planets. Their creation is neither violent nor sudden. It is a slow, methodical unfolding, a testament to patience and persistence in the cosmic rhythm. Each planet carries the fingerprints of the forces that shaped it, a silent record of the history of its star and the surrounding nebula. The diversity of planets is staggering. Some are rocky, solid worlds like our Earth, forged from heavier elements created in previous generations of stars. Others are gas giants, enormous spheres of hydrogen and helium, retaining the lightest elements of the primordial cloud. Each planet is unique, molded by its distance from its star, its composition, and the subtle interactions with neighboring worlds. In this way, planets are both mirrors and products of the universe, reflecting the conditions of their birth while shaping their own destinies. Life, as we know it, depends on the delicate balance of planetary conditions. Distance from the star, atmospheric composition, magnetic fields, and chemical diversity all contribute to a world's potential to host life. Yet even planets without life are remarkable archives of cosmic history. Their surfaces, atmospheres, and orbits record the processes that form them. The craters on a moon, the storms on a gas giant, the tectonic plates shifting on a terrestrial world, all are traces of billions of years of interaction and transformation, encoded in matter and motion. Earth, our own planetary home, exemplifies the poetry of planetary formation. Born from the dust of long-dead stars, it is composed of elements forged in cosmic furnaces millions of years before our sun existed. It carries within it the memory of supernovae, of atoms traveling through the void, of collisions and accretions that shaped its mass. The oceans, the mountains, and the atmosphere are the product of patient, unhurried processes unfolding over eons. In this sense, our planet is a storyteller too, silently narrating the history of the cosmos through its structure, its chemistry, and its life. Planets also remind us of impermanence and change. They are not static, they evolve. Volcanic activity, atmospheric shifts, orbital perturbations, and tidal forces continuously reshape them. Some may become uninhabitable. Others may collapse inward or drift outward from their stars. Through these transformations, planets teach us that stability is fleeting, that existence is dynamic, and that every moment is part of an ongoing story written in stone, gas, and ice. The relationship between stars and planets is also a dialogue of gravity and time. Planets orbit their stars, their paths governed by invisible tethers that have persisted for billions of years. Their rotations, tilts, and orbital resonances are delicate dances choreographed by forces both visible and subtle. In observing these celestial motions, we perceive the quiet intelligence of the cosmos, a design that allows complexity to emerge naturally, without hurry or conscious intent. Moons, rings, and smaller companions add nuance to the story of planets. Moons can stabilize rotation, influence tides, and even protect their host planets from destructive impacts. Rings trace the remnants of collisions and accretion, frozen snapshots of events long past. These smaller bodies are reminders that planetary systems are ecosystems in themselves, complex and interdependent, each element recording and influencing the history of the others. Even the harshest, most seemingly lifeless planets hold lessons about resilience and adaptation. Venus with its scorching atmosphere, Mars with its quiet, frozen deserts, gas giants with turbulent storms. All are expressions of the cosmic processes that govern matter and energy. They are the proof that the universe experiments patiently, testing variations over unimaginable timescales, exploring the limits of possibility before new structures arise. In contemplating planets, we confront both scale and intimacy. They are vast, often larger than anything we can grasp, yet their formation is governed by fundamental forces we understand: gravity, pressure, chemistry. They exist within a cosmic web that connects them to their star, their siblings, and the galaxy at large. Each planet is a node in this intricate network, both a product of universal laws and an agent of change, shaping the environment for whatever life or phenomena may emerge. Planets also invite reflection on our own place in the cosmos. We live on a world that is both ordinary and extraordinary, formed by the same forces that create countless others, yet uniquely capable of sustaining the delicate complexity of life. Our awareness, our consciousness, is part of the legacy of these celestial processes. Every breath we take, every thought we form, is supported by the quiet patience of planetary evolution, the slow orchestration of matter into forms capable of nurturing awareness. Finally, planets are a meditation on continuity and connection. They remind us that the universe is not chaotic but patterned, that life is not isolated but emerges from interactions spanning eons. They are the calm, enduring punctuation in the ongoing story of the cosmos, the places where matter, energy, and time converge to create worlds capable of holding history, memory, and potential. In contemplating planets, we return to the patient, quiet rhythm that shaped them, aligning our perception with a slow, deliberate unfolding of existence itself. Oceans and rivers are the veins and arteries of a planet, carrying the memory of stars, planets, and cosmic processes into flowing, living forms. On Earth, water arrived as dust and ice from distant comets and asteroids, forged in the outer reaches of the solar system, and delivered across vast distances. This migration of elements is a quiet testament to cosmic patience. Billions of years in the making, shaped by gravity, collisions, and chemistry. Each drop of water is composed of atoms that once belonged to stars long dead, particles that have traversed the void, carrying with them the history of the cosmos. Water is a remarkable archivist. It records the history of the planet it touches, dissolving minerals, eroding mountains, and depositing sediments. Rivers carve valleys, oceans cradle currents, and glaciers slowly grind rock into soil. Each movement is both creation and preservation, a record of time and energy acting in subtle, persistent ways. The cyclical nature of water, evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and flow, is an echo of cosmic rhythms, a reflection of the larger cycles of formation, transformation, and renewal that govern the universe. Life, when it began, did so in water. The first cells emerged from oceans, brimming with chemical potential, drawing upon the elements forged in distant stars. Water facilitated reactions, carried energy, and provided a medium in which complexity could arise. The gentle motion of currents and tides shaped habitats, regulated temperature, and encouraged the mixing of chemical compounds. In this sense, oceans are not only the cradle of life, but also its memory banks, holding the earliest traces of biochemical processes that would ultimately give rise to consciousness and awareness. Water also carries a sense of scale and timelessness. A river flowing over a cliff, a tide rising and falling, or an ocean current meandering across the globe is the result of forces acting over millions of years. Mountains rise, erode, and subside. Ice ages come and go. Coastlines shift imperceptibly. In observing water, we witness the slow, persistent hand of planetary processes, guided by gravity, pressure, and the energy of the sun. The motion of water is patient, continuous, and deliberate, a meditation in movement that mirrors the rhythm of cosmic evolution. Beyond its physical properties, water is a storyteller. The isotopes and dissolved minerals it carries reveal the history of the planet and its star. They tell us about past climates, about collisions with asteroids, about volcanic activity and tectonic shifts. Each sample of ocean water is a palimpsest of planetary history, layered with evidence of events that have shaped the environment over billions of years. In this way, water becomes both medium and memory, a living archive of planetary evolution. The reflective surface of water is also poetic. Oceans mirror the sky, rivers catch the light of the sun and stars, and ice reflects the history of climates long past. Water is a bridge between the heavens and the earth, between the cosmic and the terrestrial. Its transparency allows us to see both what is and what was, offering glimpses into the ancient forces that formed planets, seas, and life itself. It is simultaneously present and eternal, moving yet timeless, a liquid connection to the origins of matter and the processes that shaped it. Tides, caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and sun, are another testament to the interconnectedness of celestial and terrestrial rhythms. They link our planet to the wider cosmos, reminding us that Earth is not isolated, but part of a vast gravitational web. The rise and fall of water is a breathing, cosmic pulse, echoing the rhythms that govern stars, planets, and galaxies. Each tidal cycle is a gentle reminder that even the smallest movements are connected to the grand orchestration of the universe. Water also facilitates transformation. It dissolves, transports, and reshapes, allowing chemical reactions that form new minerals, sediments, and life-supporting compounds. It softens hardness, mediates extremes, and creates spaces in which complexity can emerge. Without water, planets would remain barren, inert spheres. With it, they become dynamic, living systems capable of sustaining growth, change, and evolution. In this sense, water is both medium and agent, simultaneously passive and active in shaping planetary destiny. Even on a personal scale, water connects us to cosmic history. Every molecule in our bodies was once part of oceans, rivers, and clouds. We drink, sweat, and breathe water that has traveled from stars to comets to planetary surfaces. The same water that nourishes life today carries the legacy of the early solar system, a reminder that we are intimately linked to the rhythms and cycles of the cosmos. Through water, the universe flows through us, quietly, invisibly, persistently. Finally, water embodies patience, persistence, and continuity. It moves imperceptibly, shapes relentlessly, and sustains life through a balance of cycles. It carries memory and history, links planets to stars, and life to its environment. Oceans and rivers are more than chemical compounds. They are participants in the cosmic story, conduits of history, and mirrors of the universe's persistent, quiet rhythm. In contemplating water, we understand the universe as a living, breathing entity, a place where energy and matter motion and stillness, memory and transformation coexist in delicate harmony. The emergence of life on a planet is a quiet miracle, an intricate unfolding that began long before consciousness appeared, long before eyes could perceive the stars or hands could touch the earth. It starts not with awareness, but with chemistry, molecules interacting, energy flowing, and matter responding to forces both subtle and persistent. In the oceans of young worlds, in the pools of primordial chemistry, the first hints of life emerged. Self-replicating molecules, membranes forming, complex reactions cycling endlessly. Life is the universe's first experiment in remembering itself, encoding history into forms capable of growth, adaptation, and persistence. The earliest organisms were simple, microscopic, and invisible to any eye that might have been present. Yet their impact was profound. Through reproduction, mutation, and survival, they began to influence their environment, subtly altering chemical cycles and shaping the conditions that would allow complexity to grow. Photosynthesis emerged, capturing light from the stars and transforming it into energy that could sustain life. Oxygen began to accumulate in the atmosphere, setting the stage for new forms of metabolism, new possibilities, and new stories. Life was not only surviving, it was rewriting its own context, creating a feedback loop in which existence could become more intricate. Life's emergence is intimately connected to time and rhythm. Cells divide in cycles, organisms respond to day and night, and evolutionary pressures act over millions of years. In this sense, life is a meditation, a slow, deliberate process unfolding in harmony with planetary and cosmic rhythms. The birth of life on Earth mirrors the quiet patience of the universe itself. Small beginnings, gradual accumulation, persistent interaction, and the careful weaving of complexity from simplicity. Each organism, no matter how humble, is a manifestation of the cosmos learning to recognize and perpetuate itself. Water remains a central player in this story, providing both medium and catalyst. Oceans circulate nutrients, dissolve compounds, and regulate temperature. Tides and currents create gradients, mixing elements and fostering environments where chemical reactions can proliferate. The liquid embrace of water allows molecules to collide, bond, and evolve, providing both stability and flexibility. It is the womb of life, the first classroom in which matter learns the subtle rules of survival, adaptation, and growth. As life evolves, it begins to store memory more explicitly. DNA and RNA become repositories of information, encoding the history of previous generations while guiding future development. Mutations and recombinations introduce variation, allowing populations to explore new possibilities. In this way, life is a continuation of the universe's earliest habit of recording and remembering. Matter had already begun to encode history through structure, motion, and interaction, and life simply amplifies this process, adding precision, resilience, and creativity to the cosmic archive. The story of life is also a story of resilience and adaptation. Early Earth was volatile, with extreme temperatures, asteroid impacts, and fluctuating climates. Yet life persisted, finding niches, exploring boundaries, and transforming environments. Microbial mats, cyanobacteria, and later multicellular organisms demonstrate the persistent push toward complexity, the universe's inclination toward diversity and innovation. Each adaptation is a subtle conversation between life and environment, a negotiation that preserves memory, optimizes function, and ensures continuity. Life also introduces narrative into the universe. Each organism carries a lineage, a story of descent and adaptation that stretches across eons. From simple single-celled organisms to complex animals, each life form is a chapter in an unfolding epic, written in genes and behaviors shaped by chance, necessity, and interaction with the cosmos. The rhythm of life, birth, growth, reproduction, death, is a mirror of cosmic cycles, creation and transformation, expansion and decay, persistence and change. The evolution of life is not isolated to individual planets. It reflects broader cosmic processes. The elements that compose DNA, proteins, and cells were forged in stars. The planetary conditions that support life arise from the quiet interplay of gravity, rotation, and chemistry. Life, in essence, is an expression of the universe reflecting upon itself, using the materials and rhythms of existence to explore consciousness, complexity, and creativity. In living organisms, the cosmos begins to recognize its own patterns, its own memory, and its own potential. Even at the microscopic scale, life demonstrates sophistication. Enzymes catalyze reactions with precision, membranes maintain gradients, and cells communicate through chemical signals. These processes, though invisible to the naked eye, are echoes of the larger rhythms of the universe. Efficiency, adaptation, and resilience emerging naturally from the laws of physics and chemistry. Life is both humble and extraordinary, a subtle manifestation of cosmic order expressing itself in intricate, dynamic patterns. From the first cells to complex multicellular organisms, life demonstrates continuity, persistence, and the integration of memory. It is a living archive, a dynamic repository of history encoded in molecules, behaviors, and interactions. Life connects the present to the past and provides a bridge to the future, ensuring that the patterns established in the earliest moments of the universe continue to unfold, adapt, and evolve. In contemplating life, we also contemplate ourselves. We are children of this long process, inheritors of molecular structures forged in distant stars, shaped by eons of environmental interaction, and carriers of genetic and chemical memory. Our existence is a reflection of the patient, persistent unfolding of complexity from simplicity, of consciousness emerging from matter, and of the universe recognizing itself through living forms. Life is not simply biological, it is poetic. It demonstrates that the universe can create, remember, and adapt, using matter and energy to explore possibility, form complexity, and sustain awareness. Each heartbeat, each cell division, each organism participating in its environment is a continuation of the universe's early experiments in memory, interaction, and rhythm. In every living system, we witness the cosmos meditating, learning, and growing, an endless, quiet exploration of its own potential. Through life, the universe becomes conscious of its history, its structures, and its rhythms. The story of living organisms, from the simplest microbes to sentient beings, is inseparable from the broader story of creation. Life is the embodiment of memory, adaptation, and potential, a reminder that the universe's quiet unfolding is neither random nor meaningless, but a deliberate, patient exploration of possibility and being. Consciousness is perhaps the most delicate and profound bloom in the unfolding story of the universe. It emerges not suddenly, but gradually, as matter becomes increasingly complex, as neurons form networks capable of storing and processing information, as awareness begins to reflect upon itself. From the first flickers of sensory perception to the emergence of self-awareness, consciousness is a continuation of the universe learning to recognize its own patterns, to witness its own existence, and to participate in the ongoing narrative of creation. It is at once fragile and resilient, fleeting and eternal, localized in individuals, yet reflective of universal processes. The development of consciousness is intertwined with the physical and chemical evolution of the brain. Neurons fire in orchestrated patterns, forming circuits capable of memory, recognition, and decision-making. Synapses strengthen and weaken in response to experience, encoding history in chemical and electrical signals. In this way, consciousness is both a product of matter and a recorder of history, extending the universe's earliest habit of remembering into the domain of subjective experience. Every thought, perception, and emotion is an echo of processes that began billions of years ago in the formation of stars, planets, and life itself. Consciousness allows the universe to observe itself. While matter can encode memory and life can adapt, only awareness can reflect, question, and imagine. To be conscious is to participate in the story of existence, to recognize patterns, and to place oneself within the vast continuum of time and space. Through awareness, the universe gains the capacity for introspection, for understanding, and for creating meaning. Our minds are mirrors of cosmic processes, complex, adaptive, and capable of holding and interpreting the traces of creation. The subjective experience of consciousness is deeply tied to time and perception. Moments of awareness are fleeting, yet they are informed by memory, shaped by the past, and projected into the future. The mind stitches together sensations, thoughts, and emotions into a continuous narrative, echoing the universe's own method of recording history through matter and life. Consciousness is both ephemeral and enduring. It exists only in the present, yet it is constructed from patterns that span eons. In this sense, awareness is a microcosm of cosmic memory, a concentrated reflection of the universe's long, patient unfolding. Consciousness also introduces meaning into the universe. While stars shine, planets form, and life evolves, awareness interprets, imagines, and dreams. Through consciousness, the universe becomes capable of poetry, philosophy, and wonder. It can marvel at its own existence, question its own processes, and contemplate the vastness of space and time. The reflective nature of conscious thought is a bridge between the objective and the subjective, between physical law and imagination, between matter and meaning. Language, art, and culture are extensions of consciousness, mechanisms by which awareness records and communicates experience. Human beings, in particular, have developed ways to encode thought and emotion beyond genetic memory. In symbols, stories, music, and writing. These cultural forms are repositories of consciousness, allowing experience to transcend individual lifespans and persist across generations. In this way, awareness not only reflects on the universe, but also extends its memory, preserving insight, creativity, and understanding in forms that can influence the future. Consciousness is not uniform. It manifests differently across species, and even within a single individual, it fluctuates with attention, emotion, and perception. Yet all conscious experience shares the common thread of awareness, the capacity to experience, to respond, and to integrate information. It is a dynamic, adaptive phenomenon, shaped by both internal structures and external influences. This variability mirrors the universe itself, which balances order and chaos, stability and transformation, uniformity and diversity. Consciousness is an echo of the cosmos, reflecting its complexity and adaptability in the microcosm of mind. Meditative and reflective states of consciousness highlight its intimate connection to time and the cosmos. When awareness turns inward, the mind can detach from immediate survival concerns, contemplating the vastness of existence, the cycles of life, and the deep history encoded in matter. These states reveal consciousness as a kind of cosmic participation, recognition of the self as both observer and participant in the ongoing story of the universe. In quiet reflection, one can sense the continuity of matter, life, and energy flowing through time, and experience a profound connection to the larger rhythm of existence. Consciousness also allows us to grapple with the unknown. Through thought and imagination, we explore possibilities beyond immediate perception. The birth of stars, the formation of galaxies, the nature of time itself. The ability to conceptualize the invisible and the distant is a remarkable extension of the universe's capacity to remember and reflect. In this way, awareness is both a product of cosmic evolution and an agent that expands the boundaries of understanding, extending the reach of the universe into realms that matter and even life alone could not achieve. Emotion, too, is a manifestation of consciousness, a way of encoding and responding to experience. Love, fear, awe, and curiosity shape perception and action, guiding adaptation and decision-making. These emotional experiences are not only biochemical processes, but also reflections of the universe's long history, encoded in the structures of the brain and the interactions of matter. Emotion deepens consciousness, providing depth, richness, and resonance to awareness, and allowing experience to be not merely functional, but meaningful. The emergence of self-awareness, the capacity to recognize oneself as distinct yet connected, is one of consciousness's most profound developments. It allows reflection, moral reasoning, and the capacity to project into the future. The self is a mirror of the universe, finite, fragile, yet interconnected with everything that has come before. Through self-awareness, the universe experiences its own history and potential, gaining a perspective that no inanimate or non-conscious life form could possess. Consciousness, ultimately, is the universe's poetry realized within the mind. It is the delicate balance of matter, energy, life, and time converging in awareness. Through consciousness, the cosmos becomes capable of wonder, of reflection, and of creation in abstract and symbolic forms. It carries memory forward, interprets history, and participates actively in shaping the trajectory of life and thought. Awareness is the final luminous thread in the tapestry woven by matter, gravity, light, water, and life, a reflection of the universe contemplating itself in quiet, profound, and enduring ways. The passage of time is the gentle, unyielding river that carries the universe forward, shaping every atom, every star, and every thought. It is invisible yet inescapable, subtle yet profound, the silent architect of change and continuity. Time governs the life cycles of stars, the formation of planets, and the evolution of life, acting as both canvas and medium for the universe's ongoing narrative. Without time, memory could not exist, consciousness could not reflect, and the story of the cosmos would remain frozen, silent, and unread. In its flow, we sense both impermanence and persistence, the delicate balance between fleeting moments and enduring processes. From the smallest particles to the largest galaxies, time imprints its influence. Atomic vibrations, chemical reactions, and stellar evolution all unfold within its currents, each event a note in the symphony of existence. Even light, traveling across billions of years to reach our eyes, is a messenger of time, carrying the record of distant events into the present. The past and present intermingle in every observation, every memory, every thought. Time is not merely a measure. It is a medium through which the universe expresses itself, a continuum that allows complexity to emerge from simplicity. On planetary scales, time is both rhythm and teacher. Seasons change, oceans rise and fall, continents drift imperceptibly, and climates evolve over millennia. These processes are slow, deliberate, and patient, reflecting the universe's preference for gradual transformation over abrupt chaos. Through time, patterns emerge, cycles of birth, growth, decay, and renewal that resonate with life, consciousness, and memory. In observing these rhythms, we glimpse the subtle intelligence of time, not conscious, but elegantly ordered, guiding matter and energy toward complexity and coherence. Time also shapes perception. Consciousness experiences it as past, present, and future, weaving moments into a continuous narrative. This subjective experience mirrors cosmic processes, the flow of energy, the accumulation of matter, the evolution of stars and planets. Memory anchors us in the past, imagination projects us into the future, and awareness situates us in the present. Through this interplay, time becomes not just a dimension, but a living thread, connecting events across scales and linking the finite to the infinite. On a cosmic scale, time is measured in eons. Galaxies form and collide, stars ignite and fade, and black holes persist as monuments to processes that span billions of years. The universe itself expands, carrying all matter and energy within an ever-growing framework of space-time. In this vast expanse, human lifespans are but fleeting whispers, yet through observation, reflection, and understanding, we participate in time's grand sweep. Every insight, every discovery, every act of consciousness is a small resonance within the eternal flow of existence. Time is also inseparable from change. It is the agent through which potential becomes reality, through which possibilities are explored and histories written. Chemical reactions progress, planets evolve, life adapts, and consciousness grows precisely because time allows events to unfold. Without this progression, the universe would be static, frozen in a moment of creation, incapable of memory, evolution, or reflection. In this way, time is both liberator and guide, permitting transformation while providing continuity. The perception of time can be meditative, especially when contemplating vast scales. Watching a tide rise, observing a star cluster through a telescope, or reflecting on the evolution of life evokes a sense of patience and humility. Time reminds us that all things, creation, growth, and dissolution, occur within a framework far larger than our own immediate experience. In this awareness, we find both comfort and wonder, recognizing that our lives are threads within an immense, ongoing tapestry. Time also carries the paradox of permanence and impermanence. Stars burn brightly and fade. Oceans erode and reshape coastlines. Life emerges, evolves, and eventually disappears. Yet the effects of these processes endure. Elements forged in stars become the foundation for new worlds. Water cycles continue, and the memory of life is preserved through matter and consciousness. Time is both eraser and recorder, simultaneously dissolving and preserving, shaping the universe into patterns that are transient yet meaningful. In human experience, time deepens the resonance of memory and anticipation. Childhood, growth, and the passage of generations all reveal the rhythm of existence on scales we can grasp. Yet these experiences are mirrored in cosmic processes. Planets form, life evolves, and civilizations rise and fall. By observing these larger patterns, we recognize that our subjective experience of time is but a reflection of the universe's enduring cadence, a microcosm of cycles that span eons. Time is inseparable from wonder. It allows us to perceive the slow unfolding of galaxies, the deliberate burning of stars, and the patient evolution of life. Through time, we understand causality, recognize patterns, and witness the emergence of order from chaos. It is the medium through which the universe writes its story, linking moments into sequences that carry both scientific information and poetic significance. Every heartbeat, every thought, every breath is a microcosm of the cosmic flow, a reflection of time's unyielding, yet gentle influence. Finally, time invites reflection on mortality, transformation, and connection. It reminds us that nothing exists in isolation, that every event, particle, and consciousness participates in a continuum. In contemplating time, we perceive the intimate relationship between impermanence and persistence, between change and memory, between the fleeting and the eternal. It is a force that guides without commanding, shaping without coercion, and connecting all things across the vast expanse of space and history. Time, in its silent, unrelenting flow, is the framework within which all existence unfolds. It is the thread that links stars, planets, life, and consciousness, the medium in which memory is encoded, and the canvas upon which the universe composes its endless, patient, poetic story. Through time, we participate in the cosmos, witnessing and contributing to the ongoing rhythm of being, understanding that every moment is both fleeting and eternal, transient yet part of a continuum that stretches from the first spark of creation to the farthest reaches of infinity. The emergence of thought is a quiet, almost imperceptible current in the river of consciousness, a subtle reflection of the universe contemplating itself. Thought arises from the intricate networks of neurons, the delicate firing of synapses, and the dynamic interactions of countless chemical and electrical processes. It is both intimate and universal, a phenomenon that connects the inner life of the mind to the vast unfolding of cosmic history. Each idea, each perception, each fleeting awareness is a mirror of patterns that began with stars, flowed through planets, and found expression in life. In thought, the universe begins to recognize, interpret, and imagine itself. Thought is a form of memory made active. It draws upon experience, both immediate and ancestral, synthesizing past impressions into new patterns. The mind collects traces of events, sensations, and interactions, weaving them into narratives, questions, and reflections. Just as matter records its history in atomic arrangements, and life encodes memory in DNA, thought carries the accumulated knowledge of existence, translating physical and experiential memory into conscious understanding. Each thought is a continuation of the universe's earliest habit of remembering and adapting, a personal reflection of cosmic processes. Imagination, a close companion of thought, expands these possibilities. It allows consciousness to explore scenarios beyond immediate perception, to simulate futures, to reconstruct the past, and to envision worlds that do not yet exist. In imagination, the universe experiments with itself, extending awareness beyond current limitations. Stars and planets, oceans and rivers, life and consciousness all converge in the mind's capacity to imagine, to recognize patterns, and to perceive connections invisible to the senses. Through imagination, thought transcends the boundaries of immediate experience, bridging the gap between reality and possibility. Language transforms thought into shared experience. Through symbols, words, and structured communication, consciousness externalizes ideas, creating a bridge between individual minds. Stories, poetry, and philosophy are expressions of this process, transmitting insight, curiosity, and wonder across time and space. Language is memory made tangible, thought made accessible, and imagination given form. Through it, awareness becomes both personal and collective, connecting generations of observers, thinkers, and dreamers in an ongoing dialogue with the cosmos. Thought is also the mechanism by which consciousness reflects upon itself. Self-awareness emerges when the mind recognizes patterns within its own processes, when it perceives its own existence as distinct yet interconnected. Through reflection, the universe experiences recursive understanding. The observer perceives the observer, creating layers of awareness that echo the complexity of the cosmos itself. In this self-reflective process, thought becomes meditative, capable of quiet contemplation, as well as profound insight, linking personal experience to universal patterns. The flow of thought mirrors the rhythms of the universe. Ideas arise, interact, transform, and dissipate in patterns reminiscent of chemical reactions, stellar cycles, and evolutionary processes. Each insight is like a particle of light, influencing its surroundings, leaving subtle imprints on consciousness. Just as stars influence the formation of planets, thoughts shape subsequent ideas, creating chains of reflection that stretch across time and mental space. In this way, the architecture of thought reflects the structure of existence itself, linking the microcosm of mind to the macrocosm of the universe. Emotions imbue thought with depth and resonance. Joy, curiosity, wonder, fear, and awe color perception, guiding attention and influencing interpretation. Emotion links consciousness to the body, to life, and to the environment, grounding abstract ideas in lived experience. Through emotional resonance, thoughts gain significance, becoming not just records of observation, but meaningful reflections that connect mind to cosmos. Emotion amplifies awareness, allowing thought to carry both information and insight, memory and meaning. Thought also enables perspective, allowing consciousness to grasp scale, both temporal and spatial. By reflecting on stars, planets, life, and time itself, the mind situates itself within the vast web of existence. This perspective fosters humility, awe, and curiosity, reinforcing the recognition that the universe is larger, older, and more intricate than immediate experience suggests. Through such reflection, consciousness bridges the gap between the finite self and the infinite cosmos, participating in a dialogue that spans both imagination and observation. The interplay of thought and memory is particularly profound. Memories are not static. They are reconstructed, reshaped, and reinterpreted with each act of reflection. In recalling the past, the mind engages in creative synthesis, blending experience with insight, perception with understanding. This dynamic process mirrors evolutionary adaptation, in which life itself experiments, adjusts, and persists. Thought becomes a living archive, a space where the universe's patterns are reconsidered, reinterpreted, and reimagined. Meditative thinking, in particular, aligns consciousness with the slow rhythms of cosmic time. By focusing inward, observing without judgment, and contemplating existence, thought becomes a bridge to the larger patterns of being. In this state, the mind mirrors the patience of planetary formation, the persistence of oceans, and the gradual evolution of life. Reflection becomes a form of participation in the universe's ongoing story, a quiet dialogue between the individual and the cosmos. Finally, thought is a form of cosmic poetry, a way in which consciousness enacts and celebrates the universe's unfolding. Each idea, each reflection, each imaginative leap is a verse in the ongoing narrative of existence. In thinking, we continue the universe's long tradition of memory, adaptation, and reflection, transforming matter, life, and awareness into insight, meaning, and wonder. Through thought, the universe recognizes itself, remembers itself, and participates in its own creation, connecting stars, planets, life, and mind in a continuous, flowing narrative of being. The quiet of night carries with it a profound stillness, a space in which the universe seems to pause and reflect. It is in darkness that the stars speak most clearly, their distant light reaching across eons, telling stories of formation, transformation, and endurance. The night is not empty. It is a vessel for memory, consciousness, and the subtle rhythms of existence. In this silence, the cosmos offers itself to observation and contemplation, inviting awareness to attune to its patient, enduring narrative. It is a space where the past, present, and potential converge, and where the mind can sense the vast continuity of time and being. Night is a mirror of cosmic processes, reflecting the cycles of light and shadow, energy and rest, creation and dissolution. Planets orbit unseen, tides rise and fall, and life continues its quiet adaptations even under darkness. The universe does not halt in the absence of visible light. Rather, it persists, evolves, and communicates in subtler ways. Stars continue to burn, matter continues to interact, and the foundations of life continue to unfold. In the stillness of night, we perceive that existence is persistent and patient, moving forward in rhythms that are both slow and profound. In darkness, consciousness itself can enter a meditative state, aligning with the universe's slower patterns. Sleep, a form of temporary surrender to time and biological rhythm, mirrors cosmic patience. Dreams emerge as the mind explores memory, imagination, and emotion, weaving narratives that echo the continuity of life and the universe. In this way, the night becomes a bridge between the tangible world and the deeper patterns of existence, a space in which the mind participates in the rhythms of creation and reflection. The night also emphasizes contrast. Against the backdrop of darkness, light becomes luminous, movement becomes perceptible, and patterns emerge more clearly. Stars, planets, and even distant galaxies reveal their presence more vividly when framed by night stillness. This contrast is a lesson in perception. The universe communicates not only through what is visible, but through the interplay of presence and absence, silence and resonance. Observing these contrasts deepens awareness, fostering a sense of wonder and humility as we perceive our small yet connected place within the cosmos. Night fosters introspection and connection. In darkness, the human mind turns inward, reflecting on experiences, emotions, and the passage of time. These moments of quiet contemplation echo the larger processes of the universe. Stars burning through vast spans of time, planets slowly forming and evolving, life adapting and persisting. The rhythm of human thought in night mirrors the rhythm of cosmic evolution, linking personal experience to universal patterns. Through this connection, the night becomes a teacher, revealing that reflection and awareness are integral parts of existence itself. Even the seemingly empty spaces of night, the dark voids between stars and galaxies, are filled with significance. These gaps are not nothingness, they are potential, silence pregnant with possibility. In these spaces, matter accumulates, energy moves, and future structures begin to form. The night reminds us that absence is a necessary counterpart to presence, that stillness is as meaningful as activity, and that potential often resides in what is unseen. Darkness, in this sense, is both a canvas and a participant in the universe's unfolding story. The night invites a sense of timelessness. Without the distraction of immediate activity, the mind can expand, contemplating the vast scales of space and time. One can consider the formation of galaxies, the death of stars, and the slow evolution of life with a sense of awe that is difficult to achieve in daylight, when the immediacy of the world often dominates perception. In night stillness, the mind experiences a kind of temporal suspension, aligning human awareness with the patient, enduring rhythm of the cosmos. There is also poetry in the night's continuity. The cycles of darkness and light, of rest and activity, mirror the larger patterns of the universe: birth, growth, decay, and renewal. The night is a reminder that every ending carries the seed of a beginning, that rest precedes activity, and that reflection precedes creation. By attuning to these cycles, consciousness harmonizes with cosmic rhythm, finding serenity in the knowledge that life and existence unfold according to profound, enduring patterns. Night encourages the recognition of interconnection. The darkness we experience is the same darkness that envelopes distant worlds, connects stars across galaxies, and frames the motion of cosmic matter. We are part of this continuum, observers, participants, and inheritors of the patterns that emerged from the first stars and planets. In recognizing this, night becomes not merely a time of rest, but a portal to awareness, a moment in which the mind can sense the vast network of relationships that constitute reality. Ultimately, the night before sleep mirrors the night of the cosmos, a space for reflection, continuity, and the gentle unfolding of existence. Stars burn silently, planets continue their orbits, life maintains its quiet persistence, and consciousness explores memory and imagination. Darkness becomes a conduit for meditation, awareness, and wonder. In embracing the night, we attune ourselves to the universe's rhythms, sensing the patient unfolding of time, the continuity of life, and the enduring presence of all that exists. Through the quiet of night, we are reminded that the universe is both eternal and intimate. We are small participants in a vast story, yet intimately connected to its unfolding. As consciousness rests, reflects, and dreams, it aligns with the enduring cadence of creation. Night is not absence but presence, a gentle, meditative space where the universe continues to narrate its story, and where we, in our awareness, participate in the cosmic dialogue that has persisted since time began.